This MMA 30 video is brought to you by Cheaterville.com. Don't go down without a fight.
Or is it just
June in Brazil. I don't have exact dates or places yet, but June in Brazil.
I have a question for.
Yeah, no, George. George has been rehabilitating and he's been doing great. He's on track, but he's still far from being ready. He said that he hurt his knee tonight when he won. He said he jumped out of the seat and hurt his knee tonight. So.
Good time.
We'll see what happens. We'll see how he feels, Carlos. I mean, and we'll see what Carlos says. We'll give Carlos some time to go home, relax, deal with, enjoy his family, and then figure out what he wants to do.
Carlos, slow that attack down.
Absolutely. Nick Diaz's pace is, second to none. He likes to walk guys down, like you said, and so affecting his mobility, chopping down his legs, and taking his wheels out from under him was a big part of the game plan. They weren't all that effective. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to think. I haven't seen the fight, but for the most part, if he did hit me with anything, it was like kind of past his power zone, and it was just didn't have a lot on it.
Did you, as you were waiting for the decision, was there any doubt in your mind? Were you going like, "Hey, did I get this or not"? No. I was pretty confident that I won the fight. And just two other quick questions, and if I may, question whether you would fight again before George is ready. I know it's right after the fight, and it's probably not fair to ask you this, but do you feel like you might want to take another fight, assuming George isn't back till close to the end of the year?
That's something that I have to discuss with my coaches and my management team. So I don't have an answer for you right now, honestly.
You sound like Dana.
I won the fight. I landed a lot of effective strikes. I stuck to my game plan. I did what I went in there to do. If I sat there and fought Nick Diaz's fight, it would probably be him sitting here with his belt instead of me. But I did what I came to do. I did what I trained to do, and I hit him. I punched him in the face and kicked him in the face, and landed more effective strikes than he did in the fight. And that's what it boils down to. If I would have, like I said, if I would have fought Diaz's fight and brawled, I probably wouldn't have won the fight. I did what my coaches told me to do, and I walked away with the win. Well, one of the things, I threw a spinning back fist or something. He told me, so we're throwing spin and shit now. And I kind of just, I had to crack a smile at that one. He told me, yep. Yeah, I'm doing what yes, I am. I planned for that. I knew that I had to be mentally prepared, as well as physically prepared to fight Nick Diaz. He's a tough guy. I hit him with some hard shots, and he just kept coming. So that's something I had in my mindset, as well as the talking and the taunts and stuff. That I just needed to stay focused and continue to execute my game plan, no matter what he said or no matter how many punches he took from me. I couldn't let my focus stray.
Nice.
Actually, I've had some training partners, doing a very, very good Nick Diaz impression lately. Well, I felt like it was working. I wasn't letting him back me straight up into the cage. He had a few moments there where he was able to do his thing. But for the most part, I was staying out of the way of his punches, staying out of the way of his combinations, and like I said earlier, chopping his legs and affecting his mobility. From the very start was working. You don't see the effects of that till later on in the fight, but he stopped coming forward on me, and I was landing what I needed to do to basically executing the game plan. No, it hasn't quite set in. I need a little bit of time to process, but I feel good. I'm after fights. It's done. All the pressure's gone. I trained for 6 months. Had a lot of different opponents lined up, and to walk away with the win is feels pretty good.
Yeah, I think you did a great job. I think there's a couple of times where Nick got to him and he started trading with Nick when they did it, and then he got right back into his game plan and stayed on the outside, picking them apart and landing shots. He did. He just like he said, he kept his poise, stayed calm, and didn't buy into it.
Well, honestly, my whole career, people have been underestimating me and kind of counting me out of fights, and I think that I've made a pretty good run at beating the odds, and and beating and finishing for the most part guys that were supposed to beat me and guys that I had no chance against. So I think that this is just another instance, and I don't feel like anybody disrespected me. Diaz gave me my due, George gave me my due, but George wants to fight Nick, and that's so. Like I said in the pre-fight press conference, I don't take it personal. He's got a legitimate beef against him. I understand that.
And also with the pre-fight press conference, I think your eyebrows raised when you were told the winner would get a new Harley Davidson. I don't know if you saw it over there. What are your thoughts on winning a new Harley?
Pretty stoked. I don't get bikes, but I guess I got to learn,
Love it. Fabricio, can you tell us what was behind the whole pointing to the mat? Were you just a little levity, or were you trying to set up a high kick? When you're pointing to the mat when you're in your fight.
Eu só fiz como foi uma brincadeira, mas se ele acreditasse na brincadeira, eu ia tentar nocautear ele.
I did to try to distract him, so if you look to that point, I was going to kick his head.
Like from my standpoint, being in the cage, I didn't think it was all that close. I felt like I dominated almost every round. He did take my back there at the end, and maybe won that round, but for the most part, I picked him apart.
Think about, in the short amount of time that we've been in Brazil, we've accomplished more there than we have 10 years everywhere else. It's unbelievable. It's on fire, and to go into that country and pull the numbers we're pulling and do the things we're doing, and literally be the second biggest sport in the country, and possibly very soon the #1 sport in the country. It's amazing. I'm happy. I love it.
Well, if you remember, I trained for that fight. Just a few months ago, I was slated to fight George, and it would just kind of be back to training the way we were training, and doing a similar game plan, and seeing if the skills that I've acquired along the way are going to fit into that, and it's an honor to be possibly fighting George for my next fight. I started out just liking the fight, I love what I do, and to be on this stage and be competing against the best in the world, I couldn't ask for anything more.
What do you believe will be the difference? A lot of people have challenged him for the belt over the last few years. What do you think that you have to offer? Why is your style going to be the one that beats him?
Like I said earlier, I like to create chaos. George is a very technical fighter. He likes to keep things pretty cut and dry. I like to mix it up. I like to throw from weird angles no matter where the fight goes. Hit you with punches, hit you with elbows, even if I'm on the ground. I'm trying to not only chip away at you physically, but break you mentally. And that's pretty that's what I do. And I think a lot of guys have had problems with that in the past, and I've only gotten better.
This MMA 30 video is brought to you by Cheaterville.com. Don't go down without a fight.